Welcome back to another episode of To Hold or Not to Hold. That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler of the mind to read all the Marvel books, or is it better to just only read a few of them? I think it's much nobler to read less. Not that, I know I'm supposed to encourage people to read more books, get all of the books, get every comic book. But that's not, I can't, that's just not reasonable. Not everybody can read every book that comes out. So my goal in this whole series is to talk briefly about some of the new books that are coming out from Marvel and kind of give you my thoughts on, is this something that I would personally put in a hold file, or is this something that I don't want to put in a hold file and I'm going to pass on? Um, Once again, the disclaimer is just because I think a book is bad or a book that I don't want to read doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad book. I will give you my thoughts on that book just to get an idea of the review. Only a few books this week. First up here, and this is a good week. This is a good week at all. The Uncanny Inhumans by Charles Soule and art by Steve McNiven. It's basically an auto purchase for me. It's Steve McNiven. I have to get his books. He's an incredible artist. But I was kind of shocked. The art in here isn't like as crisp and clean as it normally is. It seems like he'd had a lot of time to work on it, but apparently, like it doesn't look as great as it normally does. So, but having said that, like even if his work is bad, it's still tremendous. It's mind blowing and beautiful, and everything he does is incredible. Great character work. His anatomy is beautiful, and it's a lot of fun to read. So, what is going on with the Secret Inhumans? Well, Secret Inhumans, the Uncanny Inhumans. Well, way back months ago, there was an issue 0 that came out that I probably talked about, and in the issue 0, we find out that Medusa and Black Bolt had a kid, and he had to give his kid away. He took his kid, he went through Terrigenesis, and he gave him over to Kang the Conqueror of all people to raise him, because for one reason or another he didn't want his kid around. And then Black Bolt's going to go around and help people deal with their whole Terrigenesis stuff going on, kind of like they are in Agents of Shield. Only Black Bolt's much cooler to be hanging out with you while you're going through your Terrigenesis. He's got a couple people teamed up with him, Reader and Triton. And so they're running around doing stuff together as a team. Meanwhile, Medusa is doing her X-Men impression. She's doing her Professor X impression, going around recruiting young new mutants, Inhumans that have gone through their Terrigenesis, and they're doing jobs and fighting stuff. And she's kind of taken on the leader role of this, and New Adelan's a place in in New York because it crashed there, and that's from the Infinity story. Uh, and so she's dealing with that. She's being the leader of those people, and so she has her job to deal with. So while this is happening, we find out that Kang the Conqueror, they're trying to get it. Black Bolt now wants to get his son back for one reason or another. Obviously, he doesn't say because he can't say anything, otherwise he'll kill you. Literally, he'll just. So this one, basically, he's dealing with that. Kang the Conqueror's like, you want to come after me? I have control of all time, and they have a great history reference to it's not the Enola Gay, but is the Tsar Bomba, which is the largest nuclear weapon ever launched. I had no idea about its history, good stuff. And so they go there, and they're going to drop that bomb on them, and they barely escape. And they kind of figure out, well, we need to try to figure out how to defeat Kang. We might have to team up with old Medusa to make that happen. And Medusa wants nothing to do with Black Bolt because, Black Bolt was kind of a jerky McJerk, and she's like moved on to brighter pastures, fiery hot pastures. And we've already seen it in one book. In this one, it begins to allude to more of the romantic relationship between Medusa and Johnny, right? So that's kind of this book in a nutshell. All this stuff's going on. We have kind of two stories parallel to each other, and really beautiful art. It's really well written. Charles Soule he's a good writer. He's going to be he's been a good writer, but I think he's going to kind of come into his own. Like, this is a flagship book. They're obviously like the Inhumans. They didn't release a lot this week, and they released a couple Inhumans books. Obviously, they're big on the Inhumans right now. So definitely check this out if you are interested in all of what's going on with the Inhumans. In addition, there's another backup story in here that deals with some stuff, training and people, and Gorgon's in there. I think it's Gorgon. And there's just a whole litany of cool characters. There's going to be a lot of Inhumans. You're going to learn a lot about new characters with crazy powers and neat stuff. So definitely check out the Uncanny Inhumans. I have it on my hold file. automatically, mostly just because of Steve McNiven, but I feel like the writing is going to carry that book along as well. Uh, Next book, The Astonishing Ant-Man. Ah, yes. The Ant-Man book. I was really big on this series before the whole happened. And so we're back here, Nick Spencer and the same artist from before. It's beautifully drawn. It's very similar to the style that you would get from Hawkeye. They're big on that style right now, but he's a great artist. Nick Spencer is a great writer. He's a guy that I've learned to love basically because of his Ant-Man run so far. The first one was really great, him dealing with Cassie and his responsibility or lack of irresponsibility, trying to struggle with the fact that he's trying to be a superhero, cool guy, and at the same time, be a father to his daughter who went through, some horrible things. In this book, a couple things happen. One, we do find out. The big question I had in the first Ant-Man series was like, is this the same Cassie Lang that was in the Young Avengers? Because she was, stature, and apparently it is. So she was a superhero once, and now she's moving on with a very normal life. That's the first time it's been mentioned, so I don't know if that's an all-new, all-different thing, or they're going to be alluding to her getting her powers back eventually. I don't know. In this one, you have Ant-Man he's trying to get a job. He's trying to land a job with Miami doing like security for art exhibits. And that's pretty cool. It's always funny with him just trying to do something with his life. And then at the same time, Darren Cross, who is the big bad, the big pink guy that he fought and ripped the heart out of and all this stuff, he's still alive and he has a son and he's conspiring to try to get back at Ant-Man. And he's working with a pretty funny villain called the Power Broker. And the Power Broker has invented an app. And the app is called Hench. And apparently the app, you can click and summon a superhero to go kill some guy. And it's so optimized. Like they'll optimize the villain to the person you're trying to murder. And you got to pay money to do it. It's a hilarious app. And with the app, the villain has cameras on him and you get to see him fight the person you're doing. So you can like, yes, I can take part of the revenge against the hero. And it's so hilarious. Like, I don't know where Nick Spencer comes up with this stuff. It's goofy. It's fun. It's funny, but it's not like stupid. Like it's actually like, it's actually kind of clever and humorous. I love reading this book. And of course, at the center of it all is Ant-Man, which, if you saw the movie, you might be interested in getting this book. This is going to be a great jumping on point for people who've seen the movie and want to know more about Ant-Man. It is very much in that vein. So I was really impressed with The Astonishing Ant-Man. It is on my hold file. I've been a huge fan of this book. This is a book that's going to start getting traction. People are going to start talking about it. They're going to start tracking down those old issues that happened before Secret Wars, which aren't many left of at my store. So definitely check out because it all ties in. This is basically like part 2 of that story. It just got disrupted by the whole Secret Wars thing because everything got disrupted by Secret Wars. So anyways, check out Ant-Man. Highly recommended for me. This book, Karnak, oh baby, it doesn't matter. It's on my hold file because it's written by this guy right here, Warren Ellis. Warren Ellis is my top 3 favorite writers of all time. Everything he does is just awesome. Like it's cool. And when he does Marvel, it's just like, why are you doing Marvel? You're a mad genius. Why are you doing kind of what we would consider lower schlock type stuff? But this character, Karnak is one of the Inhumans. And a while back, he died. Matt Fraction killed him, and then he freaked out and doesn't do comic books for Marvel anymore for one reason or another. And there was a huge schism, and this big shakeup happened. Charles Soule took over for him, and Matt Fraction was going to be Inhuman guy, and apparently they didn't like his direction. I think it was because of the whole Secret Wars. Who knows? It's a huge Marvel conspiracy. But anyways, Ellis is doing Karnak. This is a cool book. Basically, Karnak's just this. I can't really explain him. He's an Inhuman. He's like they've created a whole new mythology for him, a whole new mythos with this Tower of Wisdom, and he's a really my brother called him a salty character, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty true. He's a very salty guy. He's not with the Inhumans though. He's kind of doing his own thing. He's a part of this group called the Tower of Wisdom, and he's got his own agenda, and he's really cool. He sees the problems in all things, or he sees it says it right here. He sees the flaws in all things, and he's able to kind of break them down. And so he's a very powerful Inhuman. I can't really explain his powers in a nutshell, but I feel like we might do a video for him for a channel that I work on. You never know. So Karnak, really cool book. It's different. Warren Ellis is a dark writer. It's never like, oh yeah, let's do superhero stuff. It's more like, oh, I want to do superhero stuff. I want to blow your brains up. Like, I mean, he does crazy things, like he breaks people's legs and dismantles people's livers. And Karnak is awesome. That's what you get from this issue. This guy wrote Moon Knight. Moon Knight was cool. I mean, anytime Warren Ellis touches something, it becomes awesome. So definitely you will want to check out Karnak. I know I'll have it on my hold file, at least while Warren Ellis is writing it. Who knows what's going to happen. Real brief, we did have an issue number 2. This is one of the ones that's in my hold file. Invincible Iron Man number 2. Totally sweet book. I can't believe it's only been 2 weeks and they're releasing an issue number 2. The art, the one note I will make is I love the art in the first one by David Marquez, and it got a little more, it wasn't as like hot, like it wasn't as like crisp and beautiful as it was before. So I don't know if there's just a scheduling thing. Clearly they released a book right after another one, so I can see the time schedule beyond that. But in this one, we, at the end of last issue, spoiler alert, Doctor Doom showed up, and he's young and handsome and, you know, really rugged looking. And in this book, Doctor Doom's trying to be a good guy. He wants to be friends with I keep saying Doctor Strange. It's almost like I have Doctor Strange in my head. He tries to be friends with Tony Stark, and he wants to work with him and figure stuff out. And they're dealing with Madame Mask, who Iron Man has a history with. And so it's pretty funny because like he goes, like Doctor Doom's like, I need you to go do this. I'm going to give you this cool item, and I want nothing in return except my trust. And like Iron Man's like, well, I don't trust you. You're Doctor Doom. Like I don't like you. And so, anyways, he goes to find, like, he literally goes to Madame Mask. He finds him. He's able to track her down. And he's like, are you working with Doctor Doom? And she's like, why would I be working with Doctor Doom? And he's like, oh, Doctor Doom, you're trying to use me. Like he sees the chess move. He's a futurist. He's trying to think ahead because he doesn't believe anything that Doctor Doom would do. It's just a great scene where he just like has this kind of like, oh, I'm so angry. And I'm in this situation here with Madame Mask. And I can't remember how the issue ended other than bad things happening. Oh yeah, Madame Mask basically attacks Tony, and he's in a bad situation. But this book is good. So normally this is gonna be about number ones, but this is a quick update letting you know this has come out already. You might not have missed it if you haven't got issue 1. You know, don't forget that issue 1 came out. Get issue 1 and 2. So just to review, super duper quick. This was just short. I mean, it's a long video because I'll talk about stuff as long as I can. So I recommended all 4 of these books to be on my hold file. Karnak was great. Ant-Man is awesome. And this is an intriguing book. I can't wait to see how this story develops. And of course, love this. So go down to your local comic shop and pick these books up. Indie Bookosaurus definitely recommends these. And I hope to see you at 1730 West Eisenhower at Grand Slam, Loveland. And you can pick up these books there. We will have plenty of them for sale. So thanks for tuning in to Hold or Not to Hold. And try to hold as many books as you can, but you don't have to hold everything.